Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Francesca and I'm a 7 Cups of Consciousness practitioner and a shamanic sound healer. And my channel is all about love, dating, relationships, the journey of love. I love to look at all the different layers and the different pieces and break down the complex into simple bite-sized nuggets. So today's topic stems from a question from a client. And the question is, should we move in together? And there comes a time in every relationship as it evolves where that question can come up. And the first thing is awareness, right? So depending on what decade age you're in, I would probably give slightly different things to ponder, but I'm going to talk about 4 things to ponder in general. If you enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up, click subscribe. If you resonated with what I said today, I would be humbled and honored to work with you. You can make an appointment for a session. I will leave a link in the description. So, as I said, when this question comes up, it depends on where you are. So whether you are looking to move in before you get married, waiting until after you get married, or neither one of you wants to get married, but you want to really create a life together and you choose to move in, everything is perfect. So, but the first key is feels right to you. There's no, I think, necessarily blanket answer for everybody. You get to create the relationship that you want, that is right for you, that is perfect for you. And there's a lot of pressure that society puts on relationships. So especially in your 20s, well, when are you going to get married? Then when you get married, well, when are you going to have kids? Or when is this going to happen? When is that going to happen? Block all that out. Your relationship is your relationship. And you, once again, create what you want. So, but there are a couple points to consider. So I'm going to speak to 4 points. And the first one is money. Now, once again, this is just my perspective from my experience, from working with clients for X amount of time over the years. Money, as we know, can always cause challenges in a relationship. But I think when you go to move in together, consider having a joint savings checking account for household bills, whether it's mortgage, rent, electric, cable, whatever. And then each person, puts in X amount into that account. So that's something that definitely needs to be discussed before moving in. The second point to consider and to discuss are chores. The distribution of work around the house. Who's going to be responsible for what? Is there a timeline? So like, do all the chores need to be done by Saturday noon? And although it's not necessarily the sexiest conversation, it does need to be had. So you want to limit the amount of challenges that are going to arise after you move in by discussing all these pieces beforehand. Another point to consider is the amount of space that each person needs. So most times, once again, depending on where you are in age, in your 20s, you may have a roommate. So you've never really lived on your own. So living with somebody else might not be that big of a transition. But several of my clients are in their late 60s, early 70s. They've been divorced for 17 years. They've been living on their own. They love their life. They don't want to move in with their partner. And that's great awareness that they know. And they're like, you know what? He comes over on the weekends. We have a date or two during the week and it's perfect. Then the rest of the time is for me. Perfect. Great. You know what you want and you've created the relationship that works for you. That's perfect for you. So some people might need more space than others. But that's once again something to discuss before moving in together. And maybe you say, okay, Tuesdays and Saturdays are date nights, and the rest of the nights, to each their own. Or Monday through Friday, we're going to have dinner at 6 together, and this is our routine. So, once again, you get to create what it is and how you want it to play out that you both enjoy, that works for both of you. And then a fourth point to consider are, once again, depending the decade that you're in and the stage of life that you're in, whether you have children living at home or maybe the children are gone, or for one of the partners, maybe they only get the children on the weekends or every other weekend. And how is that going to play out? Is there, space, room for that child? And so there's a lot to consider about that. Pets as well. So one person may have pets, the other person may not, or maybe both have pets, and then bringing them together. So those are the 4 points that I recommend discussing as this conversation comes up in your evolution of relationship. Now, I also look at things from my little energetic perch. And so when I work with a client, when this comes up, usually one of the things that we do is I invite them to use the higher realms to have the conversation up there with their partner, higher self to higher self, and hash out the details, Mach speed, ripple and reflect it, so that when the conversation happens down here in the 3D, it's easier, etc. And also keep in mind, you are 2 individual humans, right? And now you're going to be sharing space. Things are going to come up. But if you talk about the main points, which I just mentioned, the little things should not cause a big deal. So have patience. Socks on the floor can be an annoyance, but at the end of the day, is it more important to be irritated about socks on the floor, or is it more important for you to be with your partner? And there's always a solution to every issue that comes up. So I hope that this was helpful and these insights gave you some things to ponder if this is a discussion that you are nearing having. And until next time, more love vibes to come. Ciao.